Hello everyone, hope you're doing good. Okay, sure DJ, we'll start with Dell after finishing, after we go over Bitcoin, Ethereum, and so on. I'm glad to see you here from the first beginning, and we also got Altug. Hope you're doing good, Altug. Let's wait for 1 minute as usual, and we will get started, okay? If you have any questions during this session, feel free to, as usual, let me know in the members talk, or if you are watching on YouTube or in other platform, in the comment section, and I'll be able to see it here as well, and I will reply to you through voice. So let's do it as usual. Cheers. Let's start with US 500. We are overall bearish, right? We already know this from a long-term perspective. We got our impulse movements pushing price lower, correction movements pushing price higher, and so on. However, as I told you last week, if you remember, that I'm speculating that this whole bearish trend might be ending soon because we didn't reach this lower trend line. Because usually when we are still in a bearish mode, in a full bearish mode, we'll be expecting this big impulse pushing to the lower bound of this falling broadening wedge. However, in this particular case, what happened is we made a low, but it wasn't this like big impulse pushing lower, which means that the bears are still in control, making lower lows, but not as strong as before, or it shows us the potential shift in momentum in advance so we can prepare ourselves. But of course, for the bulls to take over, we still need to see a major high broken upward. For now, this is our last major high, so we might have a new major high to form here, and then this would be the end of this big bearish movement. But for now, let's take it step by step. Like I just like to show you like what to expect or the vision like to work on before we dive into the current situation. So we know that we are currently here. Let me check my microphone. Everything's working properly. Fantastic. Okay. So we are currently still struggling around the 3.9K, which is currently acting as a support zone. Look at this massive massive support previously and resistance here, now acting as support as price is retesting it from the upper side. And this is our next resistance, which is also a massive resistance, a supply zone, a resistance zone, multiple rejections from, also lining up with this upper trend line in brown. So these two are very strong support and resistance. Support here, resistance here. So once broken upward, we'll be expecting a bullish continuation from here. Once broken downward, we'll be expecting this major high to form, just like here. So we're expecting a bearish movement, right? So because this is a support now, if it's broken downward, we'll be expecting it to become a resistance and price to push lower till our next support. Now, if this happens, I'm speculating a higher low, like for an example, this time. Now we made a lower low, but it wasn't as steep as before. Now for the second phase of the shift in momentum, I want a higher low and a new major high to form here and then a break above it. This is a classic shift in momentum. That's it from daily. If you zoom into H4 time frame, we can see that we are currently still here, intersection of this channel and this 3.9K support zone. So I'm speculating the bulls to take over here to retest this resistance, and we might have a bullish movement before the bears take over, or we might break it from here and trade lower. So how do we know if we'll get a reaction here? We zoom into lower time frames, if it would be a break, or we keep on trading lower and break it downward. Okay, and this is a first example of our second phase for the session, which is a channel. So whenever I find a channel, I'll give you a practical example, from it, right? So first, if you zoom into H4 time frame, so like this is how channels or like wedges help us feel the market. So we drew this trend line starting from here, and when we approached this trend line again, we knew that we might be able to drop lower from here, especially that if we look left, we can see that this zone is also a very strong support and resistance, right? So we apply the same logic now here for this one. Support and resistance lining up with this trend line previously, trend line lining up with the resistance, support, and so on. If you zoom out, maybe you can find also more rejections, right? So like this is why it's very important to start from the higher time frames, because we've got two types of channels, right? We've got the one with the bigger ones, which you can see here as a practical example from daily, and we've got the shorter term ones. Okay, so daily and weekly are usually just to show us the overall direction and act as a non-horizontal support and resistance, as you can clearly see. While from H4, like it will help us understand the price more. But for me, for the trigger channels or a trend line in general, are M30 and H1. But here I've got an H4 one. So this is just very similar to daily and H4, but like it follows the price action more. So we can see that price rejected it previously multiple times. So now we're expecting a rejection. So we are bullish as long as we are inside this channel, or at least above this lower channel trend line in red. Now, if you break it downward, it would indicate that we are no longer in a bullish trend, right? Because usually we should be making higher lows and higher highs, right? So if you break it downward, we are no longer in a bullish trend. And even if you don't have anything on the chart, right? So we know that we are bullish, correction, impulse, and prices making higher lows, higher highs, right? So this is our last low here, lining up with this high as well. If you go left, lining up with this high, you go left, lining up with this low. So this is also a support and resistance. So if it's broken downward, it would be an indication that, yeah, this bullish trend is no longer in play. We most probably will have a shift in momentum, and this would become an impulse, and then we'll be expecting lower highs and lower lows. Okay. So let me get back my drawings because I can't live like this. So this is it. If broken downward, we'll be expecting this movement. Now, if you zoom into H1 time frame, we can apply the very same logic, okay? So we are bearish, making lower highs and lower lows, right? And if we break above this high right here, we'll be expecting a rejection from this channel. Meanwhile, we can trade lower like this, go into consolidation before we take over, the bulls take over. So this is basically it. This is the high that I'm keeping an eye on. Meanwhile, and until we break this high, we are still bearish from a short-term perspective. Yes, bearish, but short term. If you zoom out, this is it. We are bearish inside this big, big long-term one. So this one, for example, is very similar to this one, or this one is a correction movement downwards. So if you want, long story short, for US 500, if we break above this high, we'll be expecting the next bullish impulse to start. However, I don't think we will have this big impulse as before, because lately, as you can see, price failed to make a higher high, instead made an equal high. So I'm speculating a bullish movement, maybe till these highs, or maybe like a little bit above it before the bears take over again. Anyway, let's take it step by step. If this happens, bulls take over. If this happens, right, the bears will take over. Meanwhile, we can go like this before trading higher or trading lower. That's it for US 500. Like we spent time here, like more than usual, but it's fine because we went over educational stuff as well. Okay, Bukarik, hope you're doing good. I'm happy to see you here. Ace, and we've got also Crypto Lamp, Damien. Hope you guys are doing good. Okay. If you have any questions, let me know. Meanwhile, I'll keep on like diving through our charts. Okay, so I'll go over the XY now, and then I'm checking the chat again. For DXY, we can see that we are still sitting around the support zone, which we previously had from last week. If you remember, we have a very strong support area here because it's also a demand zone, as we had an aggressive movement upward from, and price is now filling it. It's also a support and resistance, now acting as a support zone. So we'll be looking for a bullish reversal. However, this is the biggest correction of all time of the previous bearish trend. So which means that the bears are clearly pushing more than usual. We might have a bullish movement. I don't think we will have a higher high like next. I'm still speculating this bullish movement to test the previous low, lining up with this previous high, also this wick here, maybe till this supply zone before we trade lower again. Or it will, or like if you want at the same time, it will form like this head and shoulders pattern. If you trade higher, this would be it. And it will also be a low broken downward. So this is our impulse, a correction, and then the next impulse will keep on pushing price lower. But first, I'm speculating a correction from here. Of course, unless this support is broken down, then we'll be expecting further bearish movement from here. But again and again, as I mentioned, I'm still speculating a correction. For the correction to be confirmed from a higher time frame, we need to see a break above this one from daily. If this happens, we'll be expecting one more bullish movement before the bears take over. As I showed you, we've got this supply zone lining up with this previous lows, lining up with this trend line previously as support, now acting as a resistance, right? So this is indeed a massive, massive zone. Just like US 500, this is a massive zone, a massive zone. For the XY, this is basically at around 109.5 till 110 is a very strong resistance. Meanwhile, we are here, okay? If you zoom into H4, I can't really say much. We have been struggling here. We broke up of this high, then we made an equal low, and we are currently here. So now we are forming like a double bottom pattern. This is our neckline, as I showed you from daily. It's the last major high. If broken upward, we'll be expecting this bullish movement till this supply, as I showed you from daily. Meanwhile, we are just right here. If you zoom into H1, the bulls took over here. We had our impulse, a correction, and we are currently in this impulse movement. As I mentioned at the start, like a Fed chair it has a speech like in about 1 hour and 15 minutes. So let's expect volatility in the market. It depends on what he says. Like the traders will get clues from it, and let's see if it will push the XY higher. In this case, we'll be expecting everything else to go down, or vice versa. We'll be expecting this bearish movement. However, like the reaction might be short term, because even if you trade higher from here, we will have this high that we need to break, or if you push lower, we have these lows that we need to break. Okay, so short term we might go higher or go lower, but from a long-term perspective, we still need to see to break below this support or above this like the double bottom neckline, which is this one, for the bulls to kick in. Okay, that's it. Okay, so tell Diego, Doge, Reef. Wow, so many requests. Okay, so like Bukhari, you are already requested 4 so far. So I'll try my best to go over them all if no one else requests any analysis. So if someone else wants to request any altcoin analysis, let me know. If not, I'll go over the ones that Bukhari mentioned. Okay, let's go to USDT dominance. A very interesting chart indeed. We can clearly see it from weekly. This is a massive, massive high because it's from weekly. Okay, so let me give you an example. This is a high broken upward. Look at the reaction here and trade it higher, right? So look, this is a high broken upward, and look at the reaction here. Okay, so this is like because it's from weekly. Okay, so the higher the time frame, the more volume, the more data inside this candle or this high. This is why like price tends to respect like the ones from higher time frames more. Anyway, we've got this high here that price is currently testing, especially from daily. It's a massive, massive support and resistance, previously acting as a resistance zone, previously here as a support, and now it's a support zone. Okay, it's true that the past 1 or 2 weeks were bearish, so it was good for for the crypto market, but like I'm speculating that it wouldn't last long. Because we've got this support here, unless, of course, unless we break the support downward now. Okay, in this case, we'll be expecting further bearish movement till where? Till this demand zone, lining up with this support and resistance, right? So multiple rejections from lining up with this trend line right here. So if you want, long story short, let me put an arrow here, copy from it. So this is it. We are speculating a bullish movement from here. If the bears take over, we'll be expecting a bearish movement till this area, where we'll be expecting a bullish movement from. Okay, that's it from USDT dominance. If you go to daily time frame, if you zoom in, you can see it even better. We are currently trading inside this big descending triangle. If you go to daily, we can even see it better. Let me make it appear on weekly, sorry, on daily. Okay, so this is it. So this is our descending triangle, as you can see. So if it's broken downward, we would also be breaking below this support around 7.8%. In this case, we'll be expecting this bearish movement. Meanwhile, we are here, and it is a support zone, especially that even if you delete everything here. Okay, let me show you what I mean. Okay, so this is also a demand zone, and this demand zone is still fresh, as you can see. So price is diving now inside this demand. So for the bears to take over, we need to see a break below these the 7.85%. Meanwhile, the bulls can still kick in. Even if we have a short-term bearish movement, we can still speculate the buyers to kick in. Now we've got a channel, so let's get a practical example here. We've got our impulse, right, pushing price lower, making a lower low, a correction, and we are currently in this impulse movement. Let's see if we'll get this full impulse to the lower bounds before the bulls take over again. For now, we are stuck inside a consolidation here, which we can see even better. And the good thing, or if you want, like the bears are showing strength because we broke below these lows. So what will happen if you break it down? We'll be expecting further bearish movement. If you go lower, we'll be expecting still the boost to kick in. If you go zoom into H1 time frame, we can see that this is the low I showed, or the zone I showed you from H4, lining up with these lows. So for the boost to take over here and start the bullish movements, we need to see a break above this zone, above this swing high, also above this zone right here. In this case, we'll be expecting a bullish movement. Meanwhile, we are stuck here inside a small range. So let's see which way it's going to go. If we trade lower, this is a support still, and that's it. Okay. Okay, let's go to Bitcoin now. Okay, let me take a sip. Sorry. Okay, so you know what? Before I go over Bitcoin, let me check everything work properly. Okay, but before I go over Bitcoin, like because like many of you asked me about Sage. So let's go over it. So now, as you can see, I've logged into my account on Newscrypto. It's app.newscrypto.io. And when you go here first you go like this, right? And like here we go. Like you can see all the boxes here, like top gainers, losers, favorite, and so on. And you've got like news right here. And anyway, you can see, scroll down and see all the information. For this one, you can click on Academy, but for today, I want to focus on predictions and on Sage. If you could click on prediction, anyone who has an account on Newscrypto can post like their ideas. You can simply click on how to upload a prediction, and then you can learn more. But it's very simple. You click on create prediction, and here we go. For example, okay, so oops, my connection seems to be slow. Let me try another chart. Let's go to ADA, USDT. Okay. Okay, I guess my connection is a little bit weak. Okay, fine. It's working now. So, for example, you draw this channel, for example. If you want, let's do a practical example, right? As usual, we have a channel now. We are bearish, right? And you can even draw a longer term channel like this. Okay, let's go for orange for this one. Let's make an offset for it. That's it. So look at this intersection here, which is lining up with this round number around 0.3, right? Or even a little bit lower, like 0.25, okay, or 27. So the intersection of multiple rejection zones. If you zoom into week time frame, maybe we can see a support and resistance there. So if we go a little bit lower, what is it? Yeah, because it was like I don't use it. That's why I don't have it as a favorite. I don't usually use it when I post ideas, only when I like when I do the sessions. Anyway, so if oops, it's in. Give me a minute. Let's make it thicker, and let's make it. Here we go. Okay, so now I'm waiting for the price to approach this area. It would be a massive zone. And this is a practical example of a channel because it helps us, right, feel the market more. So now let's say I don't have this trend line, right? The price is going down, but how do I know when the price is more likely to reverse? Right, whether it's a support or a resistance. That's why if you are bearish, I simply connect the highs, which as you can see, as I just did. Okay, and of course it's an entire zone because we've got wicks. So I can draw it like this, I can draw it like this, okay? Or I can draw it like this from this top and make it lower and higher, right? So it's fine as long as it's just for you to feel the market. And then you simply make an you press on control and hold, okay? Or press on control and hold, and then click on it and drag and drop. Okay, so this is it. And if you want, it makes more sense. If you want to check that it's lining up with previous lows as well. So resistance, support, and that's it. So now, if we trade higher, we'll be expecting what? A movement lower from here, and vice versa. As we trade lower to test it again, we'll be expecting a bullish movement from here. Okay, so this is how you use the channels from higher time frames. In this particular case, as you can clearly see, it is from daily time frame, just to feel the market. And as price approaches one of these two trend lines in brown or in orange as well, will be looking for extra confirmation that the buyers or the sellers are they are taking over. Okay, so this is it. And anyway, so for example, I'm waiting for this to happen, or I'm, for example, waiting for I'll be looking for buy stops here, look for buy setups, for example, and and then when you're done with your analysis, or you can go for a text here, ADA, right? And you can click on upload prediction, and let's do it as an example. So ADA, looking for buy setups, and here we go. So here I'll just try to like write it down fast. While looking for ADA to approach the lower trend lines to look for buy setups, right? Okay, so I still need 100. Okay, you know what? Copy paste. Okay, and like you simply click on submit, as you can clearly see, and this would be it. Okay. Okay, fantastic. So here are my predictions, and you can go to community predictions, and you can see what other people are posting. Okay, I'm clicking, but my connection is slow. Sorry. Okay, click on this one again. Okay, let's wait for a couple of seconds because of my connection. And anyway, you can go to here and you can check. Oh, okay, fine. Okay, and like every single week, like we've got the rank, as you see. Like the first one, which is in this case for today, it happens to be me. You will win 7 days of Pro Plus. Okay, which you can clearly see here, upgrade to Pro Plus and Professional Plus, or you can, or if you second, 7 days of Pro and 7 days of Sage. So what is Sage, right? Let's check it out. But you got an idea about like what's happening here. For example, on DJ, he posted tell. Let's click on like for the DJ. Okay, and let's go for Sage. Okay, so let's wait for it. I'm sorry, my connection is a bit slow. Okay, so for what is Sage? Sage is an AI price sentiment, okay, to predict the price that might happen, or the price might reach. Okay, so you can choose like two sections. The first one is choose a coin. For example, you can choose between these ones. Okay, so for now only these are available. Hopefully soon like more will be added. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB, XRP, ADA, DOT, Uni, LTC, Link, Theta. Okay, and next, for example, let's click on ADA, okay, for this example, and you can choose the time frame. You got 3 time frames only. You can click on it and choose the one that you want to know which or where like the price is where we're expecting the price to go next. For example, here predicted price is 0.3 for the next close of the H4 candle. Okay, and for example on H8H, okay, it's the same for H4 and 8H. For H12 it's 0.32, and you can check every single coin that you would like. Okay, so this is it. For example, on XRP, this is 0.4 for the next H12H, and for H4 is 0.4. And you can see that realized price, predicted price, and you can check it out all. And you can also zoom out and zoom in here as well. Okay, so this is basically it for the Sage and for the predictions. If you like us to go over more tools from the Newscrypto, let me know, and I'd be happy to to go for more tools every single time. Okay. Okay, let's continue. Let me check the chat first before we proceed. Yeah, exactly, DJ. Okay, So I already got many requests, but before I go over your requests, let me go over Bitcoin and Ethereum first, okay? Okay, working properly. Great. So for Bitcoin, we've got two possible scenarios here. The first one is if something crazy happens and the bulls take over in an immediate way, we need to see a break above this 21K. If you break it upward, then the bulls will take over and we'll be expecting further bullish movement from here. Meanwhile, of course, we are bearish and we're expecting the price to trade inside what? A channel, exactly, because now our today's topic is about channels. And I picked it today's in a specific manner because we've got so many channels and you can see it all over the place. Basically, because on USDT dominance, you can see a channel that we already saw on H4, right? So this is it, and of course, like obviously, the entire market follows USDT dominance or at least Bitcoin, and you can see a bigger channel here from daily time frame and a smaller channel here from from H4 time frame. Okay. Anyway, let's do our analysis first. We can see that we are bearish. We broke below the 18K. We might be retesting this 18K, but as I mentioned multiple times previously during the previous sessions, the 18K is a resistance zone. Okay, so even if you trade higher, expect price or the 18K to push it back in. Okay, unless the 18K is broken upward, in this case, we'll be expecting further bullish movement to the 20K. Okay, but price can still kick it down. Okay, for the bulls to take over, we need to see, as I showed you from daily and weekly time frame, a break above this last major high, which is for now this high here from daily time frame, which is around this blue zone. Okay, so for the bulls to take over from a long-term perspective, we need to see this or a new high to form like this and then a break above this high. Okay, so this is basically what we're waiting for from a long-term perspective. For now, we are stuck inside a big range, which I showed you also last week. We've got this horizontal range like this, support here, resistance there, and we are currently where around the resistance zone. Even if you go a little bit higher, we'll be facing this trend line. Okay, for the push to take over here and to be able to push till the 18K, we need to see a daily or at least H4 candle close above this resistance. If we close above it, then we'll be expecting further bullish movement till the 18K, and the resistance is starting from this area here. Okay, so from the 700 till around the 18K, and we also got a supply zone here. So we've got too many things that might push like Bitcoin lower. Meanwhile, we are here inside this range. As we approach the lower band, we'll be looking for buy setups, and in a specific manner now, as we trade lower, if we trade lower, we've got this support and resistance, as you can clearly see here, also lining up with these previous ones. As we trade lower, we have a channel, right? And the channel is bullish. We have our impulse, correction, impulse, and we might have a correction. In this case, around this lower area, we'll be looking for, sorry, let me go back to H4 for buy setups right here. If you zoom into H1 time frame, okay, so like these are the drawings from last week. The bears took over here, the bulls took over again here, and like for now here, I don't really have a major low or high. For example, this is a major low. This is a major high, but like like for now, I don't really have a major one. If we trade higher from here and form a major low, breaking downward, then we'll be expecting this movement. Okay, so like for now, this swing is sorry, is still forming. So let's see how it goes. Of course, we have a minor low like being broken downward, but let's see how it goes. Keep in mind that this is a resistance zone. Even if we go a little bit higher, we'll be facing this resistance unless we break it in an aggressive manner, at least from H4. In this case, we'll be expecting further bullish movement. So this is basically the situation, and you can see that almost all altcoins are currently sitting around a resistance zone or a major high, right? If you go to daily time frame to Ethereum, we can see that we are also retesting this resistance zone. Previously, a massive resistance turned support, turned resistance again. So we're expecting a bearish movement from here unless we see an aggressive break above the zone. And by aggressive, I mean a break above these wicks like this. Okay, or let me give you an example like this. Okay, so it was a resistance, then price broke it upward in an aggressive manner. Okay, and or like this, an aggressive manner, then now it's a resistance and it keep on pushing the price lower. If you go to H4 time frame, very similar channel that we saw on Bitcoin. Previously we were bearish, now we are bullish, right? So this is the power of channels. It will help you feel the price action more. And this is a very good example on Ethereum because we are catching both ways inside channels. Previously, the overall bias were bearish, and simply because we drew this trend line, let me show you. You know what? Let me get back them and delete everything to show you this example. So simply by drawing this upper trend line connecting these highs, okay, you can see it. That's it. And I made an offset for it. I could speculate that we might be rejecting or price might find support around this lower bound of this trend line. Okay, this is it. I connected these highs, made an offset lower till this lowest point of these three highs, which is here, made an offset, and then I could speculate that we might find rejection when price retested. So we might retest it like this. In this case, it would be here. Okay, so this is why, because it's a falling support and resistance, it happens to be lining up with what? With this low right here. Okay, so this is why this was a massive zone, a massive support zone. Anyway, let's get back our drawings, and that's it. Here we go. Okay, so we are currently here unless we see an aggressive break like this above these wicks, above in an aggressive manner. In this case, we'll be expecting further bullish movement till the 1500, which is the supply zone here, previous support and resistance, and it's also an event area because FTX crashed right here, right? So the 1500 is a massive resistance zone. For now, we are bullish, but we might have a correction before the bulls break above this zone again. I would think about bearish divergence in H4. Yes, we do have a bearish divergence, but of course, of course, for the bears to take over, we need to see extra confirmation. Like for the bears to take over, we need to see a low getting broken downward. For example, let me show you on H1. Okay, so on H1, we've got this minor low right here. So at least for the bears to show some strength, we need to see a break below it. And anyway, that's why you see my alert right here. Okay, so if we see this break, then we'll be expecting a short-term bearish movement, just like this, for example, inside this channel. Okay, so very similar to this, bulls took over, bears took over, and then the bulls took over again, the bears took over, the bulls took over, and now we don't have a low getting broken downward. So we are technically now bullish from a medium-term perspective and bullish from a short-term perspective until the bears take over again. In this case, we'll be inside a correction very similar to this one. We'll be expecting a movement till this trend line again, where we'll be looking for a similar pattern, just like this one. Okay, that's it. Now let me check. Okay, let's go for NWC first, and then I'll go over the ones that you requested. But before I forget, let me add them to my list. So NWC, tell, this is it. Let me check. Okay, Dago. I'm not sure if I have Dago on my chart on my watch list. I don't think so. Yeah, I don't. Let me add both. Maybe I have drawings on one of them. Okay, I don't. Okay. Oh yeah, I had drawings here on Binance ticker on. Give me a minute. Okay. Ishanna, hope you're doing good. Okay, so I have it on my Binance one. So anyway, like I don't really have much. I had this like this level previously, which wasn't broken. This zone, sorry. That's you know what? Let's extend it to see maybe it would be helpful. Okay, or you know what? Let's do it from scratch. Okay, so this is for Dago. Let me drag it up there below tell. Okay, and this is where is tell. Here we go. Next, we've got someone requested, yeah, Doge, Crypto Lamp, or I guess Doge, you already have it, so let's search for it. Okay, fantastic. Below Dago. Next, we've got Reef and ICX. Okay, I guess Reef, we have it somewhere here because like we did it last week. Yeah, that's it. So Reef and ICX, I don't have it. I don't think we have it, so let's search for it. USDT. Let me check if I have drawings on it. Okay, so it's also old, but like I have some alerts. Good. So, but like the drawings are like for this layout, no drawings. Let's delete it and drag it up till around this upper area. So what I'll go for first NWC, and then I'll go over these ones that you requested, and then I'll try to cover as many as possible. Okay, that's it. Okay, let's do them quickly to save time and to cover as many as possible. Okay, this one shouldn't appear on daily. So like this one's we drew from last week. That's here. Okay. NWC approaching this major low, currently inside the consolidation, as you clearly see. So obviously, we'll be waiting for the bulls to take over by breaking above this upper bound. I have already my alert here. I have my already alert as well up there, which is a support and resistance, as you see here in green. Previously a support, now resistance, now a resistance. Okay, so for the boost takeover from a short-term perspective, I want a break above this zone and then a break above this one for the boost to remain in control and take over from a medium-term perspective. Of course, then we've got this resistance, and last but not least, from a long-term perspective, from bearish to bullish like this, we need to see a break above 0.2. But first, let's take it step by step. I want to break above this high first. Next on tell, we had this zone in green. Okay, broke it upward. We had an aggressive retest due to FTX, and then the boost took over slowly again. We are currently around the 0.003, which is, if you zoom out, has been respected here, and also has been respected previously, which is this major high right here. So for the boost to take over from a long-term perspective, I'm still waiting for this break above the 0.003. Meanwhile, yes, we are bullish. We might have slight correction movements downward before we trade higher again. If you go to H4, let me see. We had this channel previously. Let me update it now to follow the price action more. Okay, so we'll be bullish as long as we are trading inside this channel. We might be rejecting these highs and kick higher. If we break below this low, then we'll be expecting a deeper correction movement, and by deeper I mean till till this flat one. Okay, let me here we go. Okay, if we break, let me add it. That's it. If you break it downward, then we're expecting further bearish movement till this lower support zone. And meanwhile, as mentioned, for the bullish takeover from a long-term perspective, I want a daily candle close above an aggressive one above 0.003. That's it for tell. For Dago, okay, I can't really say much, up and down. Okay. I personally like didn't check this one for a long period of time. But let's do it. 0.7, which is the all-time low for now as per this chart. Of course, we've got the 1 as well, which is a round number. And next, we've got this high and low, as you can see, previously low, now a high right here. So around 2 points, let's go for 3. Okay, to cover this one. And next we've got this resistance here, which is around 4.5. That's it. Okay, and then we've got this one as well, but let's focus on the current price action. So we had an aggressive movement upward from here. Maybe we had a high broken upward, a major one, but I can't really zoom in more because we've got this massive movement. So this is it. And now I can't really add much. I'm sorry about this. Of this movement like this. So if we go lower, this is a demand zone now, lining up with this high and low. Okay, high and demand. So as we retest, if we retest it, I'll be zooming in then to lower time frames, and I'll be looking for a buy setup right here. Okay, for now, for the bulls to take over, if we have an aggressive movement upward again, I want at least a full daily candle close above the 3. That's it for Doge. This one shouldn't appear on daily. Let's remove it. Okay, let me check the chat. Okay, that's it. If you have any questions or want to go over a specific one, please let me know in the members talk. Doge weekly time frame, a demand zone, we rejected it. We even broke above the 0.1. We are currently retesting this zone. Let's delete this one, previously broken, and this one is already broken. Let's delete it, delete this. Okay, perfect. We have a trend line here showing the overall direction. You know what? Let's delete this one as well, already broken. Okay, I can't really say much for now, but this is a low right here. So as we retest this area, I'll be looking for a trend following buy. Meanwhile, if we have a daily candle close above this area, it will confirm breaking the 0.1 more. In this case, I'll be also looking for a retest and look for buy stops. That's it. From weekly, if you want, this is a major high lining up with this low. So if we get a weekly candle close from weekly above this, then expect further bullish long-term movements and above this area right here. Okay. Reef still around the support zone, I guess. Yeah, around the lower bound, the support area here, looking for buy setups. And per last week, we had this channel and we had this zone. These were the drawings from last week that makes sense. I still have my alerts right here, just above this wick. If it's broken upward, then we bulls would take over. And this was basically it. Meanwhile, we are in a range and we can still go like this for a while or break it downward. Okay, so no matter how strong a support or how cheap an altcoin is, it can still get cheaper, it can still get lower. Okay, that's why always wait for extra confirmation, always wait for a trigger. In this case, this is our trigger right here. ICX, and yeah, that this would be it for your request. Bukarik, thank you, dear. Okay, ICX. Anyway, I have my alerts, as you can see, above this major high and down there. Let's see why. First, let's go to weekly. Okay, this is the all-time low around 0.1, which explains my alert like this here. Okay, that's first. We've got a major support resistance here. Okay, we also got one around here. So from 0.5, if you want, to 0.65, a massive support resistance. Meanwhile, on lower time frames, if you zoom in, we can see that just like many altcoins, we've got a channel forming, which is this one. Okay, and forming like a falling broadening wedge. Also from a bigger time frame, we've got this big channel like this lining up with this one. Here we go. Okay, so now let me make it in orange. So if you go lower, this would be a massive zone. Why? Because it's the intersection of the lower trend line in red, lower trend line in orange, 0.1. Okay, that's why my alert is here, because it's a massive zone to look for a buy. Meanwhile, I'm not interested in buying ICX, especially because this is a low here and now we are rejecting it. And this is the last major high. That's why you can see that my alert is right here. Okay, above this area. So two options. I only want to check this coin if one of these two things happen. If one of these two alerts get off, this one break, or this one look for a buy here. Okay. If no release on off-ramp in the EU as expected, Telcoin network testnet next Q1. Okay. Okay. I'm not really sure like how to respond to this one, because like I'm not that good into fundamentals, but this is something interesting. I'll be searching this one out. Cheers. Okay, DJ, fantastic. So now let me go over as many altcoins as possible. Let's go for CSZ, and I'll try to cover these ones. Like we still have some time. Let me. Okay. So I'm still waiting for CSZ to break above this major high from a long-term perspective. Didn't happen. Instead, we traded lower around this support zone. So we're looking for buy stops from lower time frames. Also from H4. From H4 can't really add much. From daily, this is a support zone, as you can see, multiple rejections from. If you zoom into H4, we previously, if you remember, were looking for this. This was the drawing from last week. We want a break above this for the bulls to take over. Didn't happen, obviously. So now let's update it. Delete this one. Delete everything previously. And this is also a channel. Here we go. Right? Offset for it. That's it. And the lows here, right? Extended. That's the high. That's why you see my alert here. Okay. And for the trigger, I want, that's it. Bulls take over if we break above this high. Okay, because we're around a support area and we are looking for buy setups. Next, we've got Algo. Algo, we are already below this support, broken down, now a resistance. So for the bulls to reclaim control, I want a break above this high and back inside the range, which we can see better from H4. That's it. This is our last high now. Unless, of course, we form a new high like this and break it up. In this case, I'll update my alert from here till here. That's for Algo. For Matic, also a very interesting one. If you go to daily, also a massive support here, also a channel. So rejecting this channel now. And when we trade higher like this, expect what here? A correction, okay? Just like previously. So like this is how you could feel, or you could know that we are now overbought just from a channel. This is in fact the offset of this one. Okay, so this is why you know that you are currently overbought. Price went up and then traded lower again. Now I made it like this to follow the price action more. So now if we go higher like this is a massive zone, and also a support and resistance starting from here. So as we trade higher, this would be a resistance area. Now for the bulls to take over, if we go to H4, we can see that we are inside the consolidation here. I personally make it higher to fill these wicks. So, oops, let me catch it. That's it. Okay, so I'm waiting for a break H4 at least above this area for the bulls to take over. In this case, we'll be expecting further bullish movements. That's it for Matic. Next, what we have on the list, Link. Nice. Okay, on Link, we broke above this high and we traded higher. We even had a classic retest and we traded higher. From daily, supposed to take over from a long-term perspective, I still want to see a break above the 10. In this case, we'll be expecting this movement. For now, we are trading this range upward and downward. If we retest this support again, I'll be looking for buy setups. If we go to H4, can't really say much. From H1, we can draw a channel, right? So that's it. Here we go. Channel connecting these lows, and guess what we'll do? We'll make an offset for it. That's it. So now if we trade lower, till this area. We'll be looking for buy setups around this previously, like a previous major high broken upward. That's why we see my alert also here that if we retest this area, I'll be looking for buy setups. Okay, on near, around the massive demand support and so on. Okay, so like previously, this was the high. I was waiting for a break above, so didn't get broken. H4. Okay, we are currently here inside this consolidation. This is my last high. Of course, we can draw it like this, but I made it for extra confirmation above this supply zone, above this area. That's why you see my alert here. I'm waiting for a break above it for the bulls to take over. In this case, I'm expecting a bullish movement on near till around this resistance zone. Okay. Also, you can draw a channel like this to speculate where the bulls might be taking over. And this is exactly what I was talking about. Impulse, we drew the channel by these dots. We made an offset to the lowest point, and here we go, right? We could speculate that we might see some reaction here. For the bulls to take over, we need to see a break above this. In this case, we'll be expecting a bullish movement till this resistance lining up with this trend line. Okay. I'll go over one more. If you have any questions, let me know, okay? Or you want to go over a specific one? I'm just gonna ask like following the list. Atom, support and resistance. Look at this strong support. If you go to weekly, you can even see it better, right? So previously a resistance here, then a support, and now we are retesting it. Okay. If we break it down just like here, we'll be expecting further bearish movement till the next support around 5. For now, it's a support, so I'm looking for buy setups. Just like near, very similar. We have this we have this major high, or if you want like to be extra conservative, simply make it a little bit higher till this high. Okay, so waiting for a break above it for the bulls to take over. Okay, on Kava, I'm not sure why I have it here, but maybe someone requested it previously. But it's a good example for the channels. Here we go. So this is a support zone. For the bulls to take over, we need to see a break above this resistance and above this last major high. Meanwhile, we'll be looking for buy stops here around the support zone. Also, it would be this channel, as you clearly see. If we trade lower, it will be approaching it. So looking for buy stops. So long-term perspective, waiting for this break, and then we'll be expecting a movement till the 2.7, which would be the upper bound of this channel. Meanwhile, especially the lower we get, the better. Okay, the lower we approach the support, the better this is the setup would be. We can even draw a channel right here. That's it. So we might go flat before breaking it upwards. And this is the last high right here. For bulls to take over, we need to see a break above it, and then we'll be expecting this movement. Okay, that's it. I'll wait for a couple of minutes. If you have any questions, let me know. Okay, you know what? Meanwhile, while you are typing, let me go for one more. MKR maker. For bulls to take over from a long-term perspective, we need to see a break above the 1K or 1.1K, which would be expecting this if we break above this high. Meanwhile, we are retesting this support area, okay, around 600, 500. We're looking for buy stops. Also, I have my two alerts, okay, one here and one here. The first one is from this one, and the second one is from this one. So it depends on you if you want to go for this or this. Okay, but these are the highs that I'm looking for. Before I buy, I want the buyers to prove to me they are strong enough to at least break a high. Okay, so that's it. Okay, someone, okay, Blaz asking about VLX. This would be the last one for today. And let me check Bittrex if we have data. Yeah, fantastic. Okay, VLX on this one around the all-time low, around 0. 0.2. Okay. Also, we can see a major high right here, lining up with this major low, sorry, and lining up with a round number, I guess 0.05. Yeah, that's it. It's a fantastic one. If you go to daily, for bullish to take over from a long term, and also, yeah, also, we got what? A channel. Make an offset for it. That's it. For bullish to take over, we need to see a break above this major high, above 0.05. I want a daily candle close, not only wicks like this. Okay. I want a daily candle close above this. In this case, we'll be expecting a bullish movement. Oops, let me make it back. Okay. Meanwhile, here we go. Wow. Okay. Nice. Okay, Blaz. Very good choice. Okay, we got a wedge pattern, but keep in mind, this wedge pattern is not like that good, because if you break below this, expect further bearish movement till the minus. I'm sorry. Okay, so expect further bearish movements. Always remember, no matter how cheap a coin is, it can still get lower. No matter how strong a support is, no matter if it's around the all-time low, it can still go lower. Okay. This is why we don't buy blindly, no matter how cheap it is. We wait for the bulls to take over first. So if we go higher now and break above the 0.05, it would be a massive signal that the bulls are taking over, because we would break above a major high, above this trend line in red, above this trend line in brown, above the 0.05 round number. So if this happens, then we'll go long. If not, I don't want to be a part of this one for now. Okay, because you can still go lower and lower. Okay, sure. Okay, sure, Blaz. Happy to see you here. Happy to see you happy, and to see you requesting requesting something. Joseph, hope you're doing good. Joseph, since you are here, let's go for this one as the last one. We don't really have much to add. That is it. For boost to take over, I'm still waiting a break above this high right here, above the 2. And by break, I mean a daily candle close above it. In this case, we'll be expecting a bullish movement. Meanwhile, we are just around support and we are sitting here. We can still go lower. Okay, so this is basically it for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any questions before before we end the session. Cheers. Mac, dear boss, happy to see you here. Sustain Empire and Mark, I didn't say hello. Hope you're doing good. Okay, so I'll talk Bukhari, Joseph, DJ, Mac, Mark, Sustain Empire, Ushanna, Crypto, Lamp. Happy to see you here today. Be safe, trade safe, and let's see how the Fed share like speech today, how it will affect the market after like 30 minutes. Best of luck, and I'll see you hopefully next week, same day, same time. Goodbye, everyone.